First of all, sorry about the bad quality. I recently had technical difficulties with my mic. Anyways, response to you about your 007 rant thingy. Now, to clear something up, I have posted a video to you before. Anyways, quick recap of the movie, just since you got lost. At the beginning of the movie, they were chasing a villain, Bond, and who appears to be Miss Moneypenny at the end of the film. They were chasing a villain who stole the data file to all the agents of MI6. Now, M has to do everything necessary to capture the files back. So, when Bond's on the train fighting the guy who stole the files, she tells Miss Moneypenny to go ahead and shoot Bond, take the shot, and she accidentally shoots Bond. For a while then, everyone thinks Bond is dead, until the Prime Minister tells him that she has to quit being the boss of MI6. Tells her she needs to retire. And she said she'll retire when she gets the list back. Later, after that, as she's driving home, she sees her lovely MI6 building get blown up. That is where James Bond is also drinking in a beer. He's getting drunk as hell. He's doing this scene where he has a scorpion on his hand, and he's drinking shots and trying not to let the scorpion sting him. What he does is he has his hand, he rises it up very slowly to take the drink, and he quickly slams it down. The scorpion winds up on the table, he slams the glass on it and stops it from stinging him. Anyways, that's not a big important part. Big important part is the parts you missed that you didn't really pay much attention to. So, 007 for a while now has not contacted MI6. He watches the news and hears that the MI6 building has blown up, and that a lot of operatives have been killed. Later we see M being sad. Also, before M goes to that meeting with the Prime Minister dude, she's starting to write Bond's obituary. So Bond ends up seeing his own death in the paper in his obituary. So, later, Bond is back after being gone for so long. He talks to him, and he tells him he's back. This is the line he says exactly. 007 reporting for duty. And then she goes, "Where the hell have you been?" He's like, "Enjoying my death." So then we get introduced to the new MI6 base, where 007 starts his training to become an MI6 agent. He misses like every shot he makes, until finally he goes up close. So basically he's training to become an agent again. He takes the psych evaluation, he takes the field test, and he even takes another test. He fails all of them, yet M tells the Prime Minister that 007 has passed and he's ready for duty. Later we find out that 007 runs into the girl who shot him, and he takes the bullet out of his wound and sends it to them for analyzing. Which then, later Bond meets Q. Now this is a little thing I'm disappointed in. Why is Q younger than Bond? And since when is that a factor? Q is really young. Bond meets him, he tells him about the gun, and he gives him his ticket to take a plane. Bond ends up going up and confronting this guy who might know the guy who deals with the thing. He follows this guy to where he's about to assassinate this girl, which Bond stops him, and then so forth. Later he ends up meeting this girl at this club, and he asks her to take to her employer. Then we get to meet the main villain of the film, which Bond confronts him And then, they fight. Naturally, they don't fight. Bond gets captured after following the girl to her boss. He then sits in a chair. The personal thing is I don't like this villain. First of all, what's his name? Mr. Sylvia, but they call him Mr. Silver? Well, that's with the 3 new Bond films. Casino Royale, you're like the main villain was the chief. No, actually you find out that the main villain was actually called Mr. White. And then in the second Bond film, Quantum of Solace, you find out the villain's name is Mr. Green. And the third film, Mr. Silver. I mean, really? What's up with this color thing? I don't get it. Anyways, I'm continuing. So, the reason I don't like Mr. Sylvia, just because they call him Mr. Silver a lot, he's a very touchy villain. He'll go like, huh? I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna feel you, and you'll feel your body. It's so creepy. If a guy was touching me like that, I'd be like, look, I know you're like supposed to be a villain, but you're acting like my mother. You're all touching me and stuff. That part creeped me out, especially near the ending, which I'll explain that later. As it's even weirder towards the ending, considering he's touching him, a woman, Judi Dench. So, alright, so Sylvia ends up thinking he has the hands on Bond when Bond ends up knocking out his guards, holding a gun at Sylvia. Sylvia thinks he's won, but just then MI6 sends helicopters in, and Bond captures Sylvia. Later, Silver is broken out of MI6, he escapes, Bond goes checks because there's all alarm system going off and hatches are opening up, and it turns out Silver is broken out. Bond goes checks the stall and Silver is broken out of MI6. So, Bond chases Silver into the sewer, which he had Q look up, and meanwhile Q is giving 007 directions to go where to go, and Bond is going. There is one cool scene about this, the part where the train is coming, and Bond has to forcefully put the door open, and he just barely makes it in before the train hits him. That was pretty cool. Later he ends up catching up with Silver, who's actually dressed up as a cop. After Bond chases him through there, he then follows Silver, and he knows he's dressed up as a cop because Q looked at the footage and saw that he was as a cop. I know you were saying Q didn't make the gadgets, but you have to understand, this is the first movie they put Q in. There was one cool gadget that they put in. The gun, where it matches Bond's palm print. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that. Only it can work for Bond. That's pretty cool, right? I didn't explain that before. But, yeah. Anyway, so Q's still high tech. He, like, knows all this stuff. He's, like, super smart. Just so you guys know, you probably already know this is a spoiler alert because it tells, like, the whole movie. Anyways, next, Bond goes in to follow Silver. Silver has charges placed all around the building to stop Bond. He blows it up. A train is coming. Bond thinks the train is gonna head for him, but it's not. The train crashes down into the room. Bond has to quickly run and dodge the train. I mean, that's really awesome. I mean, that would look cool in a video game. I know you're like, video games, I know you play them sometimes, but you don't play like really action-packed. Like, I don't think you play Black Ops or Black Ops 2 or Halo 4. I mean, you might play Halo because Halo's kind of, girls play that, but girls hardly play Black Ops. The most people I see Black Ops are guys. More girls play Halo than Black Ops or Resident Evil. I mean, you might play Resident Evil, but it's a little scary, and it's not so scary. I mean, it's not like Alien vs. Predator, or what's that game? Dead Space. Yeah, that Dead Space is not as scary as that. Anyways, continuing on. Silver ends up running into MI6, shoots at the Prime Minister, shoots up the building that they're having a meeting in. to discuss if him is gonna be fired. Bond then goes in there, throws a smoke grenade. Silver is like confused, he doesn't know where Bond is. Bond immediately goes and tries to kill Silver, but Silver escapes and he takes a police van. Later, we get introduced to one of our favorite cars back that appeared in Goldfinger, the Aston Martin. I was gonna say V12 Vanquish, but it's something. It's like the Aston Martin DBS, like 13 or something like that. Something close to that. I don't remember the exact term. If you know it, then go ahead and put it in the comments. Anyways, Bond then takes her to the to where he lived. Now, I know you're like, why I don't get it. Well, this is where Bond grew up. His parents were rich, as you could tell. He has a big ass house. It has a caretaker, and as you know, Bond's parents died in a car crash. If you've seen GoldenEye, which you said you've seen most of the Bond films in GoldenEye, it actually explains that his parents died in a car crash. I think it was either a plane crash or car crash. I think it was car. No, it was plane. While your parents had the luxury of dying in the plane crash, my parents had the formality of surviving the British's betrayal. That was in GoldenEye. Alex Travelin said that. And yeah. So then they know Silver is gonna come for him, but Bond has a plan. He rigs his house to be a trap. People go in, they die, but most of the men die, and then Silver, frickin' Silverman, he comes in with a helicopter and starts shooting up the place. Bond and him and the caretaker have to survive, because the caretaker's not gonna live Bond. The funny moment before that was when the caretaker's like, remember when I used to go taking you out shooting? And he's like, you know how your accuracy's bad? Bond immediately just shoots the disc, and he's like, what did you say you do for a living? That was funny. I mean, that was funny, I meant that. Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, continuing on. Quick. How long have I been doing this? Oh, only 12 minutes, okay. 12 minutes for like a 2-hour movie? That's pretty good. Okay, so next, for Silver to do that, and the caretaker go into there. Silver's all throwing fire into there, and then Bond rigs his place to blow up. He rigs up gunpowder and stuff to blow up the house. I mean, well, Bond is escaping through the tunnel, the caretaker and him are already out. Bond's going through the tunnel, the building blows up, the tunnel starts to collapse, and Bond, what is he left with to do but barely escape? So, yeah. Anyways, Silver then finds Bond later, they fight on the ice, Bond takes a henchman down with him, he beats up the henchman, and at first I thought Bond was dead because he was underwater too long, but he ends up coming in to save the day at just the right time. So Silver catches up with him and the caretaker at the church. You said you didn't explain that? Well, yeah, they walked to it, and then Silver followed them there because he could see the footprints in the snow. He followed them there, he shot the caretaker, and then, get this, M was already injured. He went to him, he's like, you just pull the trigger, you can kill us both, and he's all touching her and stuff, and later Bond comes in and just shoots Silver, and Silver's like, and turns around, it's like, he was all looking at Bond as he's dead. He doesn't say anything, but he just falls. And then Bond goes over to M, and basically holds her. Another thing I forgot to mention with the parents' death thing, M actually said, orphans make the best operatives. That's one thing you should know about MI6. Anyways, rounding it up with the ending of the film, Bond is sad over M's death. He's standing on a rooftop building. Eve, her name is Eve, who we know her as Moneypenny now, is telling Bond like about this stuff, and that she's gonna work in the office and not be a field operative. It's like, you're right, some people aren't meant to be field operatives. By the way, James, you can call me Miss Moneypenny. And then later we find out that the Prime Minister who got shot, his arm's all injured. And so yeah. He ends up becoming M, the guy M. And the building looks exactly the same. So at the end, it's kind of like the original Bond films. So it kind of like goes, hey, next, are they not going to do another one? Because basically Dr. No would continue after this, you know. I think what they should do, I know this is stupid because the Bond killed Goldfinger and Dr. No and Scaramanga. If you've ever played the game GoldenEye Rogue Agent, which you might not have, anyways, I suggest going and looking at gameplay of that. That game's pretty kick-ass. Pierce Brosnan stars as the Bond in that, and James Bond actually dies. He dies in a helicopter crash, and you play as this agent who survived the crash, who later ends up working for Goldfinger and Scaramanga to stop Dr. No. As you know, Goldfinger works from the south. He's not part of Spectre. That's another question. When is Spectre gonna be? Oh, that's right. Spectre gets introduced in Dr. No. If you want to know what Spectre is, like you might have seen it in other Bond films, the only real one that can get explained in is Dr. No, because Dr. No himself actually tells you what Spectre means. He tells you what the S, the P, the E, C, and the TOR mean. So yeah. If you want to know what that is, you could probably find a Dr. No clip. You could probably look up Dr. No explaining Spectre, and it'll tell you, and it'll show you that line. Anyways, that's about it. So I explained it to you. Things I did not like. I did not like the 3 films because they had a golden hair Bond. Pierce Brosnan is not that old. If they would have dyed his hair, he would kind of look young. I mean, Pierce Brosnan was my favorite. I know you like Sean Connery, but here's the facts, Jess. Sean Connery didn't do the most films. Who did the most films was Roger Moore. And I actually kind of liked Roger Moore as a Bond, but personally, I do not have my Bond book with me, but if I had it... Actually, hold on. Give me a few seconds. Second round. No, I'll just... Let me know if you want to see what I mean by... Because Pierce Brosnan actually kind of looks like the Bond picture. Come here. And before I go... Sit, doggy. Sit. I want to show you my doggy. My doggy's cute. Sit. Doggy. Sit. Good doggy. You better sit for your master who's an adult. Anyway, don't know if you can see it, but this is a dog. She's very camera shy. Show me, look at the camera. Look at the camera. Good puppy. Good puppy. You can go now. You can be dismissed. Look, there's a ball. Go chase it. And she walks out. And that means it's time to stop the film.